Hello everybody and welcome back to Alarislav's YouTube channel. As you may know, the new version 3.5.4 was released and here we are going to list the most important features and changes from the new version. As not all features and corrections will be discussed in this video, you are also able to check the full list of the innovations in the release note document, which link you can find under this video. Sometimes it is needed to control the traffic and some metrics of the destination for the exact product. For example, you have a vendor A and you would like to limit the traffic which is passed to him. You are allowed to send 100 minutes to the Russia MTS maximum every 2 hours. We have now added a new interface which lets you to configure different types of limitations and alerting. This interface is Start, Voice, Routing, Limitation Rules. Here you can see two tabs, Rule List and Thresholds. Let's check out the first tab. You can notice the top and bottom grids, and on the top grid there is a list of rules which were already created. On the right side you have an Add Edit panel as usual. Let's check all the available fields. Using checkbox is active, you are always able to activate or block the existing rule. Using Active From and Active To fields, you are able to specify the period during which this rule will be active. Now let's check the option rule type. As you can see, there are two different options available in the list. The first option is Alert. It lets you configure the rule which will monitor the traffic and will send you an alert when the traffic crosses a threshold specified in the rule without blocking the traffic. In the mentioned example, when the system has sent to vendor A 100 minutes in the first hour, the system will send you an alert and will not block the traffic. The second choice is Block and Alert. In this case, the system will block the traffic and send an alert of reaching the threshold. The possible thresholds will be discussed later. The second field is Metric. This field allows you to select the metric which will be used to control the traffic. Here is the full list of metrics that can be used. For the mentioned example, we need to choose volume, minute. The system will control the volume for the exact destination and variant to send an alarm or block it once threshold is hit. Period type is the field where you can choose the period which will be used to control the traffic. As you can see, the periods can be one of the following. For our example, let's choose the hour period. In this field, period length, you are able to increase the period specified in the previous one. In case we will fill it the value as 2, it means that the period will be increased to 2 hours, and it will satisfy the mentioned example in the beginning. And just for the sample, in case you choose week as a period and the value will be 3, it means that the period is 3 weeks. So let's check other fields. Here is the limit field. You can use it to specify the limit for the mentioned traffic. It is a threshold, and when the traffic reaches it, depending on the rule type, the system will block the traffic or send an alert. For our example, let's use 100 minutes. Other fields are intuitive in use. You need to specify the vendor or client product and destination. In our example, it is Russia MTS. You can also specify the addresses where the system will send an alert. That is all required information which is needed to create a rule. As usual, you can clone the rule or export the data from the top grid. Now let's check the bottom grid. By choosing our rule created before, you are able to see all the information regarding the traffic and stats. This can help you to control the created rule. On the second tab, you can specify the threshold for every metric which will be used to send an alert to the mentioned addresses and account manager. In our example, in case we will specify a threshold for the metric volume, minute, as the following: every time when the traffic reaches the threshold, the system will send the alarm. As you may know, the manual and automatic rate import could be rejected by the import due to critical errors which can be configured in the interface AutoRate Import. Here you can notice the tab Error Type Levels. Before it looked as follows, and in this version it was Reworked. Now it lets you combine several errors in one group, which will help you to check all the critical errors in the set. For example, as you can see, here is a group YouTube test which includes two different errors: increased notification period violated, rate increase threshold exceeded. Now, during the import of a file into the system, it will be rejected only in case two of these errors will be found for one import. Otherwise, in case only first or second errors appears, then the import will be not stopped. As for the interface, now you are able to see 3 columns: group name, step, error types, where you are able to see the list of the included errors. As you can see, you are able to add only one error in the list. On the right grid, you are able to add and edit the existing group. In the document, which link you can find under this video, you can find new markers in the sections Payment Registration Notification and Portal Payment Notification. The Payment Registration Notification markers can be used in the respective template, and it will be used to send a notification on registering a payment in the system. The markers from the Portal section can be used in the template New Payment Notification Letter Portal, and it will be sent when registering a payment in the Retail or Wholesale portal. As you may know, in one of the previous versions we have added an opportunity to collect the concatenated messages before making a single routing request, what allows the system sending all parts of the messages using the same route. Let's imagine that our switch receives a first part of the message at 2. Before, the switch had been waiting for other parts before it sent all submit responses to the client. Now we have added an opportunity to send a submit response to the client every time the switch receives a part of the message with the UDH header. But the switch will still wait for other parts to send requests to the routing, so after all parts of the message are received and all submit responses are sent to client, the switch will send requests to the routing. In case the route will be not found, the switch will send 3 delivery SAM packets with the status undelivered. Otherwise, all these 3 parts will be sent to one vendor. The switcher can be activated for all clients' channel or for the specific list of the channel. To activate it, please contact our support team and specify the following code. Some of you are already familiar with the SMS Statistics telescopic mode, which is located in the System Setting interface. By activating this feature, the Analytics interface will be calculated using more detailed cubes, and it will increase the time of the calculation, but provide the user with more recent data. Now we have added an opportunity to use this telescopic mode not globally, but for a specific layer and period configuration. As you can see on the screen, a new button, Telescopic View, was added in the toolbar. As an example, you can select specific analytics configuration, choose the country and the period, and select the telescopic view. This option will be activated specifically for this filter configuration, but in case you will try to change any option, for example choose another country, the telescopic view will be automatically deactivated. Be also aware that this option will be available in the Analytics interface only in case the general system setting SMS Statistics telescopic mode is not activated. Otherwise, this option will be hidden, as you can see on the screen. Now, in the interface SMS simulation, you are able to simulate SMS for multiple destinations. If you have added a new carrier and it is needed to test whether the routing was configured right. If you are able to check all these destinations by specifying the MCC list. Firstly, you need to choose the client, product as usual, and then select the option multi as you can see on the screen. Then you are able to specify the list of the tested MCCs and choose whether it is needed to include rate from the parent products. After the simulation, you will get the list of the routes for every available rate in the client product. Those clients who use our HLR deeping module know that there is a need to prepare a dial code list which will be used by the system to send a request to the HLR provider in case you are using several of them. Before, it was not possible to specify the exclusive list or the dial codes, and this fact caused the situation when you have to prepare a more detailed list to exclude the dial code, which doesn't need to be checked. For example, you have 10 dial codes which needs to be sent to the HLR provider. But you have decided to exclude the code 793 and do not check it. Now you can send a request to our support team and specify the huge range of the dial codes in the dial code list, but additionally you are able to send a dial code which need to be excluded. It will minimize your time by preparing a request. We also would like to ask you to specify the following code. Earlier, in case you had exported the EDRs in the Analytics interface, it was not possible to determine any details regarding the task. Now you are able to see an additional information which lets you check the information of already executed exports. In the new version, in the routing rule choice, you are able to change the order of the chosen vendors. Before, in case you needed to add a new vendor to the first place, you had to remove all vendors and add them again in the order you need. Now you are able to organize all vendors at your discretion, as you can see on the screen. There is a system setting parameter initial payment for new retail clients, which specifies payment amount given after the registration. we have added the parameter in the interface control company what lets you differentiate the initial payment depending on the control company. In case you leave the parameter blank in the interface for your company, then the value will be taken from the system setting. But in case you put a 0, then there will be no payment automatically created by the registration. Now, using Rate Import version 2 interface, you are able to select the option Show Unchanged Rates in case the import mode implies the analysis. Ticking the checkbox will show all rates which will not be changed by the import. For our example, let's choose the option Analysis and run the import. As you can see, in the final report, you are able to see rates in the section Same. As you may know, in the retail portal, sender ID format is verified by the system setting sender ID pattern. Using regular expression, you are able to set restrictions on characters and length. And now, in case the sender ID doesn't meet the requirements of these rules, you will get the user-defined error as you can see on the screen. Now, you are able also to change the text of this error using the following system setting. Please be aware that this data has the following format, and depending on the language, you are able to change the text of the error message. For example, let's change the text and try to input a wrong sender ID. As you can see, the text was changed. A new role Show Financial tabs was added in the section Partner Portal. By deactivating it, the user will not able to see the tabs, Invoices, Payments, and the column Cost in the SMS Stats tab. As one carrier can include several channels, for your convenience we have added a new checkbox Select All, which lets you select all channels included in the list. A new field VAT ID has been added in the registration page. After the registration, the value will be passed to the field VAT identification number in the carrier interface. As you may know, in the previous version we have added calculation of the message amount when sending a campaign from the retail portal. It counts the number based on the tags and markers which will be used in the message. It takes time and server resources, that is why we have added a new button which lets you start the calculation to avoid the background calculation. Analysis interface for the second version of Rate Import was reworked to make it more comfortable. First of all, the column Error Description was renamed to Status and Error Info to Info. The filter was added for the column Status, and the number of rows included in the status will be displayed here. Other columns were also reworked, and sorting and filtering are also available now. We have added a new resource SMS translation rule, which lets you work with the translation rules. As you can see, you are able to add, edit and get all rules which are available in the mentioned interface. For our example, after the authorization we will get all the available rules. As you can see, the system returns all rules from the mentioned interface. In the interface outgoing email accounts, you are able to specify the email from which the report came from. But this rule can be assigned to a different control company. Now, by adding a schedule and any report, you are able to specify the control company, and the system will take the right rule by sending the report to the specified address. In the early versions, when you created a campaign from the file, you were able to see the task in the interface sent from file tasks only after the task was already finished. Now, after you have started a campaign, you are able to check the task before it is finished, as you can see on the screen. At times, we might change the API methods used by the means of REST. To avoid the situation when these changes will affect your configuration and business scenarios, we have added a new report, which lets you check the changes of the API methods. You are able to choose the version and check whether anything was changed. As you may know, by the rate import process, new billing increments which are assigned to the rate can be imported into the system. Let's firstly check all the places from which the billing increment can be managed. As you can see, firstly we have a general system setting, use country-based system increment list. It can be used to import rates from the special table where a country code is assigned to the special billing increment. Now let's check the interface of the import. As you can see, the billing increment can be also taken from the specified column in the file, and the last place from which the increment can be used is the field billing increment default increment. Let's investigate the way how these three options work with each other. Firstly, in case you specify the column increment, the system will always take it from this column. If one billing increment in a single row will be missed, as you can see on the screen, you will be able to notice the following warning in the log: billing increment missing or invalid, which was not shown earlier. Now, if the value of the system setting parameter useCountry-based system increment is equal to 0 and the column increment is not chosen, then it will be taken from the field billing increment default increment. But in case in the system parameter the value is 1, the increment will be taken from the special table, and by missing the code needed for the import, again the field billing increment will be taken into account. We have removed the limitation for the sender ID field in the interface SMS simulation. Before, it was not possible to input only ASCII symbols, but now you are able to use symbols which are not present in the mentioned data coding scheme. They can be used for single and multi SMS sending. Now, the system settings parameter default network markers works also for the E212 column as well as for MNC. Before, it worked only for the column MNC. In case the system setting contains 999, then this MNC will be cut by the import the rate in the SMS product. In the interface rate compilation, it is now possible to send updated rates to your partner once they are applied. You can notice the new option after clicking on the button Apply Generated Rates. By activating it, the system will create a rate export task for sending new prices to default rate change emails defined in the agreement. Now, after you have generated the needed rates in the interface rate compilation, you are able to apply them to any client product despite the fact the calculation was based on a different product. We have reworked the functionality of the rollback rates in the rate editor interface. As you can see, now by pressing on the button you are able to specify the product and the target date of the rates. After this you can see the preview of the changes which will be applied. In case everything is expected, you can apply the changes and roll back the rates. The registration page was reworked. As you can see, the selection of the language was hidden. We have added an opportunity to add logo on this page, and the field zip code is not mandatory anymore. Additionally, you can request our support team to add a welcome text on this page and specify the following code. New HLR Provider Advanced was integrated into the system. To start working with it, you need to ask this provider to whitelist your server IP, where routing model is installed, and provide our support team with a password, user and port which needs to be used. Additionally, you can specify the following code. Then you will be able to start. In the agreement interface, you are able to choose one of the 4 available options in the field in-out rounding function. By choosing the function, you are also able to specify the number of the decimal places which will be left. Now, in case you will choose the option default, the field in-out rounding precision will be hidden and the system will check the default values from the system setting interface. There could be multiple rules in the interface translation rules, and not all of them are active. Now, using this checkbox, you are able to filter only active rules. Now, once you choose the number of rows in any wrapper, the section will be saved and used by opening other wrappers, as you can see on the screen. Now, in case you will change the effective from parameter of the rate and this rate will be starting later, then you will get the following notification. Note that the period not covered by the rate will lose the billing information. Confirm that you wish to proceed. As you can see, you are able to proceed with the changes or cancel the operation. Please be also aware that this warning will be activated only for a single rate or for the group of rates in case they have the same effective from date. Now, using a method SMS EDR, you are able to get a vendor rate. You need firstly fill the parameter show vendor, and finally you will get the EDR with the vendor's rate, as you can see on the screen. In the retail portal, we have added a new filter destination address. Now you are able to filter the EDRs using A and B number, as you can see on the screen. As you may know, in the bottom grid of the swap deals interface you are able to add comments, as you can see on the screen. Now, the color of the sign will be left gray in case there is no comments there, and blue in case the comment was added. Now, in the routing rule interface you are able to export all rules in the Excel file like in all other interfaces. The system also takes into account sorting, filtering in the... Well, these are all technical details which we plan to describe in this video. Hopefully it was useful for you. In case you have any questions regarding the new version and the features which were not described here, you can always contact our support team. If you have any suggestions regarding the channel development, we will be happy to get them also by the following email. So see you in the next lesson.